Life is full of signs, gentle nudges, whispers in the wind, and powerful shifts that seem to come from nowhere. These are not coincidences. They are divine messages, guiding and protecting you. When you are in tune with yourself and open to receiving, you will see how God communicates, how He warns you, and how He shields you from harm. If something isn't right for you, God will find a way to show you. He will send signals, speak through intuition, and sometimes remove things from your life, even when you don't understand why. Today, let's explore 6 ways God tries to warn and protect you so you can recognize His voice and trust His divine plan. There are moments in life when something deep inside you whispers that something isn't right. You may not be able to explain it, but you feel it. A tension in your heart, an uneasiness in your stomach, a restlessness that won't go away. This discomfort in your spirit is not random. It is a divine warning, a sacred message from God, urging you to pay attention. How often do we ignore these feelings, brushing them aside as overthinking or unnecessary fear? We convince ourselves that we are being too sensitive, that we should push through, that everything looks fine on the surface. But the truth is that inner discomfort is a language of its own, a language that God uses to communicate with us. When your spirit feels unsettled, it is not without reason. It is a call to listen, to pause, to reflect before moving forward. Discomfort in your spirit can show up in many ways. It can come as anxiety before making a decision, an overwhelming heaviness when you're around certain people, or a sudden change in how you feel about a situation that once felt right. You may not be able to pinpoint exactly why you feel this way, but something in your soul knows the truth before your mind does. That is because your spirit, connected to divine wisdom, can see beyond what your physical senses perceive. Think of a time when you ignored that inner discomfort. Maybe you took a job that seemed perfect on paper but felt wrong in your gut, and later you realized it wasn't aligned with your purpose. Perhaps you stayed in a relationship where things looked fine from the outside, but inside you felt uneasy and unsure, only to later discover betrayal or heartache. Maybe you made a big decision while feeling unsure, only to regret it down the line. Every time you ignore the signals from your spirit, you risk walking a path that is not meant for you. On the other hand, think of the times when you honored that feeling. Maybe you walked away from a deal that felt off and later you discovered it would have been a disaster. Maybe you declined an invitation to an event and later found out that something bad happened there. Maybe you distanced yourself from a person who made you uncomfortable and later you saw their true colors. Every time you trust that inner nudge, you align yourself with divine protection. God does not always speak through loud, dramatic events. Sometimes His guidance comes as a soft whisper, a small but persistent feeling in your heart. That is why it is so important to cultivate stillness and listen. When you feel discomfort in your spirit, do not rush to silence it. Instead, sit with it. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Pray for clarity. Meditate on it. Give yourself space to receive the answers. One of the biggest mistakes we make is doubting ourselves. We second-guess our feelings because we want to see logical proof. But spiritual messages do not always come with immediate evidence. God is warning you not based on what you can see, but on what He knows. Your job is not to demand proof before trusting. It is to trust, and the proof will reveal itself in time. Sometimes discomfort arises not because something is harmful, but because it is not aligned with your highest good. You may be in a situation that feels okay, but not truly fulfilling. You may be surrounded by people who do not necessarily harm you, but do not uplift you either. Your spirit will feel restless when you are meant for more. When God is calling you to grow, to move, to step into a higher version of yourself. Discomfort is often the first sign of transformation knocking at your door. When you experience this feeling, do not fear it. Do not try to numb it with distractions or convince yourself that it's nothing. Instead, honor it. Treat it as a sacred message, a divine signal. Sometimes it is a warning. Other times it is an invitation to change. Either way, it is here to protect and guide you. The next time you feel that deep unease, pause and listen. Is God trying to warn you about something? Is He trying to redirect you? Is He nudging you to walk away from something that is no longer serving you? Trust that feeling, because God speaks in many ways, but one of the most powerful ways He speaks is through the quiet stirrings of your own soul. There are moments in life when a door closes, and no matter how hard you try to push it open, it remains shut. It can feel frustrating, even painful, to see an opportunity slip away, a relationship end, or a dream suddenly become unreachable. In these moments, it's easy to feel abandoned, as if life is working against you. But what if that closed door wasn't rejection? What if it was divine protection? When something doesn't work out, our first instinct is often to resist. We question why things aren't going the way we planned. We replay scenarios in our minds, wondering what we could have done differently. We beg for another chance, hoping to force something to work when, deep down, we know it's not meant to be. But the truth is, not every door is meant to stay open. Some doors close because they were never meant to lead us where we thought we wanted to go. Others close because we've outgrown them, and they can no longer hold the person we are becoming. It's natural to feel disappointment when life takes a turn you didn't expect, but what if you could see closed doors not as an ending, but as a redirection? What if, instead of resisting them, you learned to trust them? Every door that closes is making room for something greater. When a job opportunity disappears, a relationship ends, or a dream seems unreachable, it is often because something better is on its way. The challenge is to have faith in the unseen, to believe that even when you don't understand, there is a higher plan unfolding. Think about the times in your life when something didn't work out, only for you to later realize it was a blessing in disguise. Maybe you were heartbroken over losing a job, only to find a better one that aligned more with your purpose. Maybe you felt rejected by someone you deeply loved, only to later meet a person who truly valued you. Maybe you tried to start a business, and it failed, only for you to discover a new path that was far more fulfilling. At the moment, it may have felt like rejection, but looking back, you can see that it was simply a redirection towards something greater. Sometimes we hold on to things too tightly, afraid to let go because we believe they are the best we can have. We settle for relationships that don't truly fulfill us, jobs that don't inspire us, and situations that drain our energy, all because we are afraid of the unknown. But when God closes a door, He is not taking something away from you. He is clearing space for what is meant for you. He is protecting you from what is not in alignment with your highest good. Imagine a child holding on to a small toy, unwilling to let go, not knowing that their parent is about to give them something far greater. That is how life works. You may not understand why a door is closing, but if you trust the process, you will soon see that something better is waiting. The universe is always working in your favor, even when it doesn't seem like it. It's important to listen when a door closes. Sometimes we try to reopen it, refusing to accept that it's time to move on. We chase after people who have left. We beg for opportunities that have passed. We stay in places where we no longer belong. But forcing something to work when it's not meant to will only bring pain. Trust that if a door is closing, it's for a reason. You may not see it now, but one day you will look back and be grateful. Instead of mourning what is lost, shift your focus. Ask yourself, what is this making space for? What new path is opening up? The key is to surrender, to let go of the need to control every outcome, and instead trust in divine timing. Every closed door is a step toward the right one. When one chapter ends, another begins. But you cannot step into your new story while holding on to the old one. Let go. Trust the process. Believe that what is meant for you will never pass you by. And when the right door opens, you will walk through it with ease, knowing that everything that led up to this moment was guiding you exactly where you were meant to be. There comes a time in life when people will reveal their true colors, not through their words, but through their actions. No matter how much someone tries to hide their true nature, eventually it will come to the surface. At first, this may be shocking or even painful. You may feel betrayed or confused when someone you trusted shows a side of themselves that you never expected. But this revelation is not meant to harm you. It is meant to protect you. God allows people to show their true nature at the right time, so you can see them for who they really are, not for who you want them to be. Many times we hold on to illusions. We believe in the potential of a person rather than the reality of who they are. We ignore warning signs, make excuses, and convince ourselves that if we just love someone enough, they will change. But the truth is, people are who they choose to be. And when someone's true nature is revealed, you must believe it. Sometimes people reveal themselves slowly. They start with small actions, little betrayals, inconsistencies, or patterns of behavior that don't sit right with you. Maybe a friend who always claimed to support you begins to withdraw when you experience success. Maybe a partner who promised to love you unconditionally starts making excuses for their lack of effort. Maybe a colleague who once seemed like an ally subtly undermines you when they think no one is watching. These are not accidents. They are glimpses into who a person truly is when the mask begins to slip. One of the biggest mistakes we make is ignoring these moments. We convince ourselves that we are overreacting, that we should give someone another chance, that maybe we misunderstood their actions. But deep inside, we know the truth. Our spirit feels the shift. There is a reason why after certain interactions, you walk away feeling drained, uneasy, or disappointed. That is your inner guidance warning you that something is off. The universe has a way of exposing people at the right time. You may think someone is in your life for good, but when their season is over, their actions will make it clear. When someone betrays you, lies to you, or takes advantage of your kindness, it is not a coincidence, it is a revelation. It is a sign that they were never meant to go any further with you. Sometimes these lessons are painful, especially when they involve people you deeply love. But wouldn't you rather see the truth now than continue living in an illusion? Letting go of someone after seeing their true colors is not always easy. You may feel a sense of loss, even grief. You may wish things could go back to the way they were before, but remember the past was only peaceful because you didn't yet know the truth. Now that you do, you have a choice. You can continue holding on to something false, or you can honor yourself by walking away. People will show you who they are. They will show it in how they treat you, in how they handle conflict, in whether they show up for you in times of need, and in whether their actions align with their words. Pay attention. The truth is always there. You just have to be willing to see it. There is power in accepting the truth about people. When you stop making excuses for bad behavior, you free yourself from unnecessary pain. When you stop trying to change someone who does not want to change, you reclaim your energy. And when you walk away from those who have revealed themselves as untrustworthy, you make space for people who are truly meant to be in your life. Not everyone is meant to stay. Some people come into your life as lessons, others as blessings. Either way, their role is important. Every person you encounter teaches you something about love, about trust, about boundaries, and most of all, about yourself. Some will show you what loyalty looks like, while others will teach you the importance of self-respect. Embrace both lessons. And when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Do not wait for more proof. Do not give them endless chances to hurt you again. Do not let your hope blind you to reality. Trust what you see, trust what you feel, and most importantly, trust that when someone exits your life, it is not a loss, it is divine protection. Life doesn't always move in a straight line. No matter how carefully you plan, no matter how hard you work, there will be times when things don't go as expected. You may be pushing forward toward a goal only to find yourself facing an unexpected delay. You may have a clear vision of where you want to go only to be forced to take an unfamiliar detour. In these moments, it's easy to feel frustrated, even discouraged. You may wonder, why is this happening? Why am I being held back? But what if the delay isn't a punishment? What if the detour isn't a setback? What if they are both a part of a greater plan, designed not to stop you, but to prepare you for something even greater? Too often we view delays as obstacles when in reality they are divine pauses. You may think you are ready for what you want, but life knows the bigger picture. It sees what you cannot see. That delay could be protecting you from a mistake, giving you time to grow, or leading you toward a better opportunity. Think about all the times in your life when you were forced to wait, only to later realize that the timing was perfect. Perhaps you didn't get the job you desperately wanted, only to find a better one months later. Perhaps a relationship ended, breaking your heart, only to make space for someone truly aligned with you. At the time, you may have felt devastated, but looking back, you can see that everything was happening for your highest good. Detours work the same way. Sometimes the path you thought was meant for you is not the path that will lead you to your destiny. You may have a plan in mind, but life has a way of redirecting you towards something even greater. These detours may not make sense at first. They may take you on an unfamiliar road, one that feels uncomfortable and uncertain. But if you trust the process, you will come to see that this new path is exactly where you were meant to go. One of the greatest challenges in life is learning to surrender to divine timing. We want things to happen now. We want immediate results, instant success, and quick answers. But just because something isn't happening right away doesn't mean it's not happening at all. Some of the most beautiful things in life take time to unfold. A tree does not grow overnight. A masterpiece is not painted in a single day. And your journey, your success, your dreams, these too require time. Patience is not about sitting idly by, waiting for things to fall into place. It is about trusting that even when you don't see progress, things are moving in your favor. Every delay is refining you. Every detour is teaching you something valuable. And when the time is right, the doors that were once closed will swing open effortlessly. Instead of resisting delays and detours, embrace them. See them as opportunities rather than obstacles. Use the time you have been given to grow, to prepare, to become stronger. There is always a reason for the waiting. Maybe you need to develop new skills before stepping into your next chapter. Maybe there are unseen dangers ahead and life is protecting you from walking into them. Maybe what you are asking for is not aligned with your highest good and something better is on its way. The key is to shift your perspective. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of feeling stuck, remind yourself that you are being guided. Every pause has a purpose. Every delay is working in your favor, and every detour is leading you exactly where you are meant to be. Trust the process. Trust that what is meant for you will never pass you by, and when you finally arrive at your destination, you will look back and realize that every delay, every detour, every unexpected turn was a necessary step on the journey to something greater than you ever imagined. There is a voice within you, a quiet but powerful knowing that speaks without words. It doesn't shout, yet it commands attention. It doesn't demand, yet it urges you to listen. This is your intuition, your inner guidance, your spiritual compass. It warns you when something is wrong, nudges you when you need to change direction, and reassures you when you are on the right path. Too often we ignore this voice. We brush off uneasy feelings, explain away red flags, and convince ourselves that we are overthinking. We doubt ourselves because logic tells us one thing while our spirit tells us another. But intuition does not need proof to be right. It sees beyond what the eyes can see. It picks up on energy, on patterns, on things that the conscious mind has yet to process. And when your intuition sends you a strong warning, it is not to be ignored. And then the second thing you were saying is, have you ever felt an unexplained sense of dread before making a decision? Have you ever sensed that someone was lying to you even when they seemed sincere? Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt something was off? These moments are not coincidences. They are warnings. They are messages from a deeper part of yourself urging you to pay attention. Ignoring your intuition can lead to regret. How many times have you looked back and thought, I knew better, I felt something was wrong, but I didn't listen? That feeling of hindsight is not just about past mistakes. It is a lesson. It is life reminding you that your inner wisdom was right all along. The more you ignore it, the louder the consequences become. Strong intuitive warnings come in many forms. Sometimes they arrive as a persistent thought that won't leave you alone, a gut feeling that lingers even when everything seems fine. Other times they show up as physical sensations, a tightness in your chest, an uneasiness in your stomach, a sudden tension in your body. Your intuition speaks through feelings, through instincts, through signs that seem subtle but are filled with meaning. Pay attention to how your body reacts in certain situations. When something is right for you, there is a sense of ease, a natural flow, a quiet confidence. But when something is wrong, even if you can't explain why, there is resistance, there is discomfort. There is an inner knowing that something is not aligning with your highest good. One of the most powerful intuitive warnings is a sudden change in energy. You may feel drained after spending time with a certain person. You may feel anxious before stepping into a situation, even though nothing appears to be wrong. You may notice that every time you ignore a certain feeling, things seem to go wrong. These are not coincidences. They are signals. They are reminders that your soul always knows the truth before your mind catches up. The challenge is learning to trust this knowing. The world teaches us to rely on logic, on facts, on what is seen and proven, but intuition operates in the unseen. It requires faith. It requires trust. It requires the willingness to listen even when you can't yet see the reason why. When you feel a strong warning, do not ignore it. Pause, reflect. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to tell me? If you feel uneasy about a person, pay attention to their actions, not just their words. If something about a decision feels off, take a step back before moving forward. If you feel guided to walk away from a situation, even though there is no logical reason, honor that feeling. Your intuition is always working in your favor, always trying to protect you, always leading you toward what is right for you. The more you trust your intuition, the stronger it becomes. When you listen to its warnings, you avoid unnecessary pain. When you follow its guidance, you align yourself with the path meant for you. And when you honor your inner wisdom, you step into a life where you no longer second-guess yourself, because you know deep down that you have always had the answers within you. Life is full of changes, some expected, some gradual, and some so sudden they shake the very foundation of who we are. Unexpected loss or change can feel like the ground beneath us has disappeared, leaving us standing in uncertainty, confusion, or deep sorrow. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, a sudden career shift, or any life-altering event, these moments can leave us feeling lost, vulnerable, and searching for meaning. But as painful as these moments are, they also hold deep transformation. They strip away what we once knew and force us to look inward. They challenge us to find strength we didn't know we had. And while we may not see it in the moment, every unexpected change carries the potential for growth, healing, and even a greater alignment with our true purpose. When faced with an unexpected loss, the first instinct is often resistance. Why did this happen? Why now? We cling to what was, hoping that somehow things will return to the way they used to be. But life moves forward whether we are ready or not. It doesn't wait for us to be prepared. It doesn't pause for our grief. And in these moments, we have a choice to resist what is happening or to lean into it with faith. Loss has a way of stripping away illusions. It forces us to see what truly matters. When we lose something or someone we deeply cared for, we are reminded of how fragile life is. We are reminded to appreciate what we have, to live fully, to love deeply. While the pain of loss is real, it is also a sign that we have loved, that we have cared, that something or someone meant enough to leave an imprint on our soul. Change, too, can feel like a storm. A job we thought was secure is suddenly gone. A relationship we invested years in unexpectedly ends. The life we pictured for ourselves takes an unforeseen turn. In these moments, fear and uncertainty creep in. But what if the change is not the end, but the beginning? What if it is making space for something greater? Think back to a time when something in your life fell apart, only to lead you to something better. Perhaps you were forced to leave a situation that was limiting you. Perhaps a door closed, only to push you toward an opportunity you never would have considered otherwise. Life has a way of rearranging things for us, even when we don't understand why. And though it may not seem like it now, the pieces will come together in time. Healing from unexpected loss or change does not mean pretending everything is fine. It does not mean rushing through the pain or ignoring the emotions that arise. It means allowing yourself to feel fully, deeply, without judgment. It means giving yourself permission to grieve, to process, to release what was. Healing is not about forgetting. It is about making peace with what has changed and finding the courage to move forward. There will be moments when the sadness feels overwhelming. There will be days when you wonder if you will ever feel normal again. But slowly the heaviness will lift. Slowly you will find meaning in the new chapter that is unfolding. And one day you will look back and realize that even in the midst of loss, you were being guided. Everything that leaves our life makes space for something new. It may not be clear today, but trust that there is a greater plan unfolding. You are not alone in your pain. You are not abandoned in your grief. There is a higher wisdom at work, gently leading you toward healing, toward clarity, toward a future that holds beauty beyond what you can see right now. Unexpected loss and change are some of life's greatest teachers. They show us our strength. They teach us resilience. They remind us to cherish the present, to embrace the unknown, and to trust that even in the most painful moments, we are being shaped into the person we are meant to become.